2021 has seen the rollout of a suite of COVID-19 vaccines, providing hope that the world can overcome the pandemic and its fallout. Oil markets have stabilized, with demand now expected to reach pre-pandemic levels in 2022, and non-OPEC supply set to see relatively robust growth from next year. OPEC members and countries of the Declaration of Cooperation, after successfully helping return stability to markets and drawing down the stock overhang, in July 2021 decided to extend the framework of adjustments until the end of 2022 to help ensure continuing stability. After the recovery in 2022, global oil demand is expected to grow further to 104.4 million barrels per day by 2026. In the long term, oil demand continues to expand, but at a slower pace, reaching just over 108 million barrels per day in 2035 and remaining at this level until 2045. From 2022, non-OPEC supply recovery picks up pace, growing 7.5 million barrels per day in the medium term as US tight oil comes back and countries including Brazil, the Russian Federation, Guyana, Canada and Kazakhstan see production rise. Non-OPEC supply peaks around 2030, concurrently with a high point in US tight oil. In turn, OPEC liquids, after recovering to around 34 million barrels per day in the medium term, rise steadily to reach 43 million barrels per day in the long term. Estimated refining capacity additions in the medium term are robust at almost 7 million barrels per day, while another 7 million barrels per day of incremental capacity will be required in the long term, predominantly in developing countries. This will be partly offset by expected significant capacity closures in developed regions, where oil demand is set to decline. Cumulative upstream, midstream and downstream investment requirements in the long term are $11.8 trillion in the period until 2045. Providing this investment in a timely manner is essential for both producers and consumers. In the wider energy perspective, oil will remain the number one fuel in the energy mix until 2045, even though wind and solar energy will see by far the highest growth in this time frame. However, questions around evolving policies and technologies mean that the long-term energy outlook remains uncertain. What does remain certain is that the global population will expand and economies will grow. Coupled with ambitions to address energy poverty and provide energy access for all, this means that demand for energy will rise significantly. Now in its seventh decade, OPEC is steadfast in its commitment to ensuring secure and stable oil supplies and working with stakeholders everywhere to support a sustainable and inclusive energy future.